Game 5 on the Oklahoma City Thunder's home floor. They are an 8.5 point favorite with a very similar total of 220.5 in this game here. What are your thoughts about game 5? Does OKC rout the Wolves and punch their ticket to the NBA Finals?
So at the beginning of the series, if I said after 4 games, the Timberwolves are going to be outscored by the Thunder by 1 point, you'd be like, wow, Timberwolves have exceeded expectations. But most people don't see it that way, looking at game to game, possession by possession, and I don't see it that way. And more importantly for our conversation, the market doesn't see it that way, where they were 7 points favored in game one. Now they're 8.5 point favorites. It's kind of the opposite thing that we saw with the Nuggets series, where Nuggets were 10 point dogs to the Thunder in Oklahoma City, and they ended in the play in despite Aaron Gordon's injury, only 8 points in Game 7. It's gone the other way from seven. Now I think it's going to be probably this is the last game, but I think it would be inched towards the Timberwolves and Nuggets being somewhat similar teams. Um, Real quick on I think it's a good point to talk about the styles of games and the point totals where Michael Jordan had let plenty of playoff series where they were scoring in the 90s and he had 30 points per game.
Yeah,
But he also did what was called for him in the moment when he played a great offensive team in the Suns and the totals were in the 110s, 120s. He averaged 43 points per game. He would pick up and
great
expand
point.
his range of outcomes along with what was called on him. And he didn't have conference finals appearances at 23. Most players don't. LeBron did. LeBron did make it to the finals at, I believe, 22 or 23. It was a very different conference that he was plowing his way through. But it's a well point taken that at 23, we can't expect him to be a finished product. At 26 and 27, SGA's age, maybe more so. Um, so I think my power rankings make this 8.5, so it's right on the number. I think the Thunder are a team that either loses or blows teams out, game four being the exception.
Mm.
And I tend to be looking at the former, where Julius Randle's now had really slow starts, slow performances in general. In games two, three, ended up going over his number in a lot of garbage time, but was pretty quiet during most of that blowout. And then in game four goes 1 for 7. Um, so I think the Thunder roll here. I think Anthony Edwards probably gets his shots up, whether or not I wish I could bet on his misses because I think he might overcorrect and shoot 26, 27 times, but I don't expect him to be that efficient. I do think Jalen Williams, Alex Caruso will have more than enough in the tank for him. So I lean to the Thunder here, and yeah, I don't have a strong best bet on this game yet, just quite yet. But talk me into something. What do you like?
Yeah, so my best bet will be in this game, and I'll back the Oklahoma City Thunder offense in this game here. Their team total sitting at 114.5. And I've said this a lot is that role players tend to play better at
Yeah.
home, and I don't think that's a big secret. But I mean, even the role players for this Thunder team, they've played great all season, whether it's been at home or whether it's been on the road. But this is the opportunity that the Thunder have worked for, getting to this point of being up 3 games to one win away from getting to the NBA playoffs, a very long process, but here they are. Just so putting some numbers behind it in the playoffs in particular this season, Mac, they played 8 home games, have the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs. 6 of those 8 games, they've scored 115 or more points. And you take a look at this series in particular against the Minnesota Timberwolves, they fell half a point short in game one where they scored 114. They responded in game two. They scored 118 points in that game. And then we saw just in game four on the road, that was where they scored 128 there, with game three being an exception there, where they just got their doors blown out and it wasn't much to play for there. But I believe this will be a game. It'll be dominated by their big three. SGA should have a fantastic game, of course. Jalen Williams, building off of what he was able to do in game four there for the Thunder, and Chet, who kind of seems forgotten, behind all these great role players and players that they have in particular, who's also done a fantastic job of contributing on the offensive side. I know that he's a great shot blocker and a defensive presence for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. But you take a look at the series in particular, he scored 15, 22, 10, and then in game four, where he scored 21 points here for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I think there's an opportunity. I love betting on the Thunder at home. They've been great. I think the offense shows up here as well. So my best bet for the podcast will be Oklahoma City Thunder team total over 114 and over 114 and a half in game 5.
I like that. And I think another way to diversify your portfolio is to bet on the role players in the way of betting on SGA over 6.5 assists,
I like
minus
that.
145.
Yep.
He's gone over in 3 out of the 4 games, um, averaging 33 divided by 4, 7.5 assists per game, a little better than 7.5. Is that right? I feel like that's wrong. 8.3,
34. Yeah, eight. Yeah, there you go.
8.25 assists per game. I don't know. I just look at the series stats, but I just had the game by game pulled up in front of me. And a couple different things converging here. One, they're at home.
Yep.
Two, they haven't shot the three ball well up until the last game. 33% in the playoffs versus 37.5% in the regular season. Jalen Williams only shooting 32%, Chet shooting 32%, SGA at 29%, Dort at 29%. I feel like as embarrassing as game 3 was, the fact that they came back in game 4 and now they're looking at a position to close it out at home, I feel like they're going to relax a little bit. They've had that doomsday type game and they know that they can rally back from that. I think that gives them a sense of relief. They're going to let it fly. And SGA will be perfectly happy, like he bought everybody Rolexes after his MVP, heading into the finals with a we did it all together game, and Aaron Wiggins got involved, and Carson Wallace hit some shots. I feel like that would be their best mentality, mental frame of mind heading into the finals. So SGA, yeah, he dishes it out here. He gets 7 assists, and Thunder win by 30, 120 to, I guess it would be 90 if they win by 30. But actual prediction 120 to 102, and we're headed to the finals.
I like it. All right. So best bet for me, Thunder team total over 114 and a half in game 5 on Wednesday. And then Max best bet will be the under, correct me
Over,
if I'm wrong.
over
Oh,
6.5 assists.
over 6.5 assists for SGA for the Timberwolves and Thunder game.